I'm Rachel Feldman with WVVH Hamptons Television, and we are here on the very appropriate red carpet for the American Heart Association's 16th annual Heart of the Hamptons Ball. Please join us for a really educational, informative, and inspirational evening.
Big smile right there if you want it made.
So we're here with Jeffrey Moses, who is a professor of medicine at Columbia University and received an honor for distinguished work with the American Heart Association. And you said to me previously that they've been making leaps and bounds recently, and especially. Why do you think that is, and why all of a sudden?
Well, it's not, well, this actually has been a generations at work, and we've actually cut mortality from coronary heart disease in this country by 50%. And the goal of the Heart Association over the next 10 years, by 2020, is to knock it down another 20%. Yeah. And if history proves right, they will. Between the research and all the prevention and the volunteers that come out of this organization, we will, and we are winning the battle against heart disease.
And I think you're informing people more. I think women now realize that heart disease affects them just as much as men, and I don't think that they did before.
Well, you're appropriately read, and that's very important. And the Women's Heart Initiative, you cannot underestimate, because up until at the beginning of this trend, only the men were benefiting. Right. Now, both the men and women are benefiting as we understand more and more about women's heart disease as well.
And what is the biggest precursor that people can look at in their own health that possibly that they have some issues with their heart?
Well, the key is, of course, your lifestyle, prevention, blood pressure control, eating the right foods, exercise. If you do all those things right, not many people do, but if you do it all right, your chances of having heart disease are reduced 80%. Right.
So that's preventative medicine, basically. Yeah.
Yes, but also the research. I mean, we still have a lot of people getting older. The elderly population grows, heart disease grows, and we need science, and more technology, both to prevent it and to treat it. And we've done wondrously in the last 20 years, and I'm hoping the next 20 years are equally effective.
I hope so, too. We're here with Layne Lieberman-Liebelson, who is a nutritionist and a food counselor as well, and has worked with the American Heart Association for a while now, right?
Oh, for 20 years.
And what do you think is the one diet improvement people can make today to change their diet to be more heart healthy?
To think of diet as a way of life and stop going on and off diet so much, because I think the American public has been battling with obesity and heart disease for so long, and a lot of it is because we just don't feel comfortable with living with a one way of life, a healthy diet. And I think if we just could learn how to do that easily and be comfortable with eating healthfully, we would reduce a lot of the problems in our country: heart disease, diabetes, and obesity.
Yeah, I mean, you believe in food as medicine, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you don't think of food as medicine, I mean, medicine has side effects. Food really doesn't. It nourishes your body, makes you healthy. And what better medicine than something natural and good for your body that we have to eat. We need to eat every day. We need to drink lots of water. And we need to also exercise.
Definitely, I agree with that. And did you create the menu for today?
Oh, yeah. I've been doing the menu for 16 years for the American Heart Association here. I've also been on the board. And I love working with chefs and creating healthy menus because, again, food is an enjoyment. And so why shouldn't you be at an event and eat healthy, feel good, and be happy?
Exactly. And what should we be looking out for that's delicious and heart healthy tonight?
Tonight, all of the menu items have been prepared with heart healthy preparations. Everything on the menu is pretty much heart healthy. I mean, the desserts you have to be a little more careful with, but it's, you know, desserts earn indulgence. Right. You got to have a taste.
Right. I think every now and then it's okay. Yes, that keeps your heart healthy, right?
Yes, it does. You have to be happy.
Exactly.
And so if that makes you happy,
then it makes your heart happy.
That's right.
So we're here with Kevin O'Connor from Bridgehampton National Bank, and you're the chair of the event this year. How did you get involved with the American Heart Association?
It's a cause that's close to my heart. It's something that's affected my family. It's a cause close to my heart, something that's affected my family. And so the ability to be involved, to give something back, it's part of what Bridgehampton always does. And to be part of an event in the Hamptons is always exciting.
Yeah, and you've been involved for many years now, right? This is not your first year?
I've been involved. I've attended the event. This is the first time I've actually gotten involved officially, and I'm glad that I hope we're going to have a successful evening. So far, it's gotten off to a good start. You can't ask for better weather, and we're very happy to be here.
And so you said that this affected you personally. Is that when you decided to be involved, and did it change your lifestyle?
Well, I lost my father at a very young age, so it's something that's always been in my head, and certainly as I've been able to figure out ways to give back to the community, this is certainly a way that I'd like to do that. It's something that is close to my heart. It has affected me. I think I live a healthier life than my dad did, so hopefully I can live a longer life.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think that's probably the message, right? Learn from mistakes.
It's one of the things this organization does is I think if you look at how the education of people and lifestyles have changed over the last 30 or 40 years, a lot of it has to do with what this organization does.
Definitely education about your health and about your body and being an advocate for yourself and your health. And Bridgehampton National Bank is always involved with this, right?
Bridgehampton, it's been part of the spirit of this company for 100 years to give back to the community. And I'm a steward of this organization today, so I want to continue to do that today and into the future.
That's great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your work. So I'm here with Peter and Charles Noto, who are involved with the American Heart Association, and you are actually a survivor of heart disease. So what's your story?
I had a stroke and 3 open heart surgeries, and now I play sports. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
That's an amazing story, and you're very brave to have gone through all this. How old are you?
16.
Wow. And how has working with the American Heart Association affected your life?
It's just affected me a lot because I just worked with it and became stronger with it. I don't know. It's just affected me a lot.
And do you get to talk with other kids and share your story to people your age?
Yeah, I like to talk to other kids and make them stronger. Yeah.
I'm sure you're definitely inspiring everybody. And you're very strong, and you said you play sports now.
Yeah, I play soccer and tennis. Yeah, and football at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really amazing coming back from everything that happened to you, and to be able to do that. I really congratulate you.
Yeah, thanks.
Really amazing. And so your dad is with you the whole way, and how has this whole affected you?
Oh, well, he's an unbelievably brave child. He's had 3 open heart surgeries that required stays of 20 and 25 and 30 days in the hospital, and he's just an amazing kid. He just is just an amazing child.
And are you also involved with the American Heart Association?
I am, not as much as Charlie. Charlie will talk to groups of children, and it's good for other parents to see children. Charlie is 16 now, so it's good for them to see somebody that can be 16 when they have little ones, 2 and 3. It's hard to believe that what you're going through, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, they're 16, getting ready to drive.
And so you remember going through all these ordeals, and what was that like for you as a parent to be in? These are usually diseases that we associate with adults. So to have that happen to your child, what was that like for you?
Well, Charlie was born with the disease, so he had his first surgery at 5 days old. So it's all we've known with Charlie, but he's very strong, never gives up. He always has a smile on his face. He's amazing. When people say, who's your hero, I always say my son Charlie, because he is. He just is. He's amazing.
So if there's any message that you could give to kids your age, or kids in general that are going through anything that you went through, what would it be?
Just be strong and don't give up. Just be strong. And after you're done, just be active. Don't be like a couch potato.
I think that's great advice, and be grateful that you got a second chance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that's really inspiring words.
How much you understand?
More than a typical kind of thing. Felt the Jones in my bones when you were touching me. Oh, didn't want to take it slow. Every day's going crazy, I can barely think. You're replaying in my brain, find it hard to sleep. Oh, waiting for my phone to blow. I'll come down here. Oh, yeah.
Southampton, it's a branch of Delhi and Shelby.
So I'm here with Bill Hemmer, who is actually the MC of this evening's festivities, and you've worked before with the American Heart Association.
Yeah, they invited me 2 years ago, and unfortunately I could not make it last year, but they made quite a first impression. It's a really great group of people with a wonderful organization. I think they're doing a lot of great work, and that's...
Do you have any personal association with the American Heart Association?
Fortunately, I can say no, and hopefully that'll stay that way.
Are you a heart-healthy person yourself?
I think for the most part I can be, and luckily for my family too, we've been all blessed with good health, and it really makes you appreciate that even more when you are made aware of charities like this, because that shows you that there are people out there that need help.
Yeah, definitely. And as the MC of the evening, what do you feel like the message is that you're trying to get across?
I think the people behind the scenes have done such terrific work organizing this and putting together and raising the money and raising the awareness that they need to take a bow tonight.
Right.
And I'll make sure that happens.
So you're there to highlight them.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
And did you meet Charlie, the young man who survived 3 strokes, I believe, and open heart surgery?
You know, stories like that really make you stop and think how lucky you are. You know, it's such a beautiful night, and the weather cleared up so wonderfully today. And if you had a chance to get out and just feel a little bit of the nature out here on the East End, and you meet a young man like that, and some of the others that have come to this organization over the past years, and makes you feel very lucky for what you have.
Definitely, and I think being out here on the East End makes you feel lucky, and you have a home here, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I've been out here for several years now. And, you know, when you work in the city and you're in that concrete and steel every day or 5 days a week, it is so wonderful to get back out here and feel grass. Yeah, you lose that connection, but fortunately, we have the opportunity to come out here and reconnect.
Yeah, and I think it's a really beautiful event to have here and to have, because the Hamptons is such a heart-healthy place.
He's here tonight to celebrate the 16th annual Heart of the Hamptons Ball with us tonight. He is a fine young man. I'd like to bring up our Junior Committee Chair, Brittany Modell, to help with that introduction.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure for me to be involved with this incredible event and be the Junior Committee Chair for such a wonderful cause. I wanted to help the American Heart Association, not only because they fund research, but also because they actively educate the public. This cause is extremely close to me, as I was previously diagnosed with a heart condition. I had an indescribable feeling, and knew something was not right. My mom thought that it was just another complaint. However, I continued to bring it up, and finally she agreed to take me to the cardiologist. After running a few tests, the cardiologist noticed that something was not right, and it was apparent that I had an atrial septal defect. Because I was living with it for so long, the only way to correct the problem was through heart surgery. I was absolutely shocked. I never thought that I would need to get heart surgery at the age of 19 years old. This experience also helped me realize how important life is and how things can change in an instant. I've learned to really appreciate the importance of health and to truly embrace a healthy lifestyle. Charlie, a young boy who's just celebrated his 16th birthday, has also faced many of his own challenges and was able to overcome them with great strength and determination. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me welcoming our survivor tonight, Charlie Noto, with his parents, Trish and Peter.
Hello. My name is Charles Noto. When I was born in June of 1996, I was diagnosed with hypoplastic left heart syndrome. Basically, the left side of my heart doesn't work the way it should. I've been on a daily medication schedule since birth. I've gone through 3 open heart surgeries, a stroke, and spent far too much time in and out of hospitals. When I was younger, my parents would always tell my siblings to be careful with me, not to get too rough. I was told I couldn't participate in certain events or eat certain things because of my heart condition. When I was young, when I went to school, I wasn't allowed to play sports like football or lacrosse. That was always really hard for me because I love sports. I'm a huge Yankee fan. Now I play. Thanks. Now I play soccer and tennis on my school teams. I play the trombone in my band. I was even in my school's production of West Side Story. This year I was a shark. Thank you. But I would not be doing any of this without the American Heart Association, without them funding the invaluable research of heart disease or supporting life-saving new treatments. I would not be standing in front of you today. Today I'm talking about my personal experience with heart disease, to raise awareness and to support the American Heart Association in its efforts against it.
I wanted to say a few words about my son Charles. When Charles spoke, he mentioned about having hypoplastic left heart syndrome, having 3 open heart surgeries, and having a stroke. What he didn't mention about those surgeries was their length and how much time he spent in the hospital. Each surgery was between 8 to 10 hours long. Recovery was between 25-30 days in the hospital after each surgery. Through it all, we had one goal: getting Charles home and being a family again. You all received an invitation to come tonight. In that invitation, there was 2 pictures of Charlie. The one at the bottom is Charles now, a strong, healthy 16-year-old. The top picture was taken about 25 days after his last surgery. He was almost ready to go home. But if you had taken a picture the first days after his surgery, you wouldn't have recognized our son. Chest tubes, draining tubes, IVs, too many lines, too many tubes to count. There are 3 reasons why my son is here today. First, Charlie never gave up. He always fought. Second, the doctors, the nurses that took care of him, they never gave up either. And last, the research and the support the American Heart Association has given to fight heart defects and heart disease. They haven't given up either. So please, when you look at those 2 pictures of our son Charles, realize it took a lot of hard work, research, and money for him to be here tonight. Thank you all for your continued help to fight heart disease.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome me, and welcoming tonight, Dr. Jeffrey Moses.
Not here really about me. I mean, this is really about the organization. I'm getting what's called a service award, but this isn't a service award. This has been my privilege to take care of literally thousands of patients who have really put their trust their lives and their families and loved ones' lives in my hands. But I can tell you the most gratifying part of my work is the ability over the course of my career to really see the advancement and change in heart disease, and literally year by year, there's more and more I can do with the advanced techniques to make patients live better and longer. And I cannot emphasize how critical the Heart Association is in this mission. Prevention, of course, and changes in public health policy and the battle against heart disease have made enormous strides, and there's no organization beyond what the Heart Association has done to be effective in that area, and they've been phenomenal. But the real issue is the research, because that is what's under challenge in economic times. Public support for research is diminishing, and voluntary organizations like the Heart Association are really critical. And, you know, that's frequently lost in our current healthcare debate, the importance of continued research and change and new knowledge and new techniques and new drugs. And they have been phenomenally important in reducing the incidence and the mortality of heart disease. Frankly, one of my frustrations in the whole healthcare debate several years ago when they were talking about specialty care and how expensive specialists are, we have cut the mortality of coronary heart disease over the last generation by almost 50% through research and applications of new techniques. And what's even more impressively, I remember back around 2000 when these numbers were really coming in, people saying, well, that's it, we're done, people are getting heavier, they're getting, you know, diabetes is growing, we're going to level off. And you know what? We knocked it down another 20% in the last decade, and the goal for this decade is another 20%. So we've made so much progress that if projections hold out, coronary disease will actually not be the #1 killer, but the #2 killer below cancer. And that's, I think, a phenomenal achievement. Just to give you a little anecdote of how far we've come. When I was training, I think it was back in the Harding administration, when you had a heart attack, you had about a 14% chance of dying. You spent a month in the hospital. You would not go back to work for months, and if you lived 2 or 3 years, that was amazing. If any of you understood Mad Men, that's what heart attacks were like. Today, thanks to the work of the Heart Association, if you have a heart attack, you get an angioplasty within minutes, your mortality is 2%, you're hospitalized 3 to 5 days, and you're back to work within a week or two. And that's all because of the advancement of drugs, devices, systems, organizations that have occurred. And we're getting even better as we speak. I just want to give you a little personal anecdote about my dad. My dad had a valve disease diagnosed last year of 86 called aortic stenosis. Just over the last 5 years, because of advancements in technology, partnership with industry, we were able to develop a valve that was able to be put in without surgery. And I promise you, my father would not be here today if it weren't for that valve. And that's what research means to me. So it was my privilege to really support the Heart Association. I ask you to give generously, and I hope what we can say in the future is that we're #2. So thank you very much for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Layne.
At age 9, I was diagnosed with hyperlipidemia, high cholesterol. My total cholesterol was over 300, and that was the start of my career. I became a registered dietitian, and I wanted to teach the world to eat and live healthfully. Later in my career, as a consultant in the grocery industry, I slowly evolved into a disillusioned dietitian. Americans were getting fatter. The food industry was all about marketing more and more Frankenstein-like processed foods. Every month there was a new diet being touted requiring a combination of deprivation and the consumption of more packaged food products. Because selling processed food and supplements is the business model that diet gurus have used to cash in. But that model really doesn't work.
Today, 2 out of 3 Americans are overweight, and 25 million people in the United States are taking statins to reduce LDL cholesterol. How many people in this room are taking statins? Can you please raise your hands? Okay. A lot. Okay, agreed. Statins have been effective in lowering cholesterol and reducing the risk of heart attack, but not without side effects. Has anybody read the most recent study in this week's news? Statins cause fatigue, and individuals may interpret fatigue as depression. So here's the good stuff. Here's where I get to thank my brilliant husband, Michael Liebelson. 2 years ago, Michael and I moved to Geneva, Switzerland for his job as an engineering company executive. Being that I was a disillusioned dietitian in the food industry, it was perfect timing to take a break from the U.S. food industry. So the 2 years spent living outside of the United States gave me ample time to research solutions to America's obsession with bad diets and our climbing obesity rate linked to chronic disease such as heart disease. Now that we have returned to the U.S., I am excited to share that I'm writing a book that reveals the way to reversing this problem. It's not just another diet book, but I promised my agent I would not give away too much. On that note, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being here tonight and for supporting the American Heart Association, a truly worthwhile organization, a leader in the fight against heart disease. I want you to please enjoy the food, the company, the music, the festivities. Bon appetit, and God bless America.
And now, time to eat Layne's Heart Healthy menu. Feldman with VVH Hamptons Television. Thanks so much for joining us for the 16th annual Heart of the Hamptons Ball.